Hi, Roger. Congratulations. Well, in your part of the world, it's almost 12 midnight where you are, and you've actually just made it to the finals at Basel. So, congratulations. This is such a good look. Again, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record, but I do think it's important to repeat some things. As you can see, if you've been watching all of my videos, I do repeat certain things, but, I cannot be more proud of you as a fan. Like, you're just doing very well this time of year. And what's so funny is today I noticed on Twitter, and again, I'm talking about these fans who are like so into you, and they know so much information about you. Someone tweeted today, it was. It was interesting, but it was also, I don't want to say creepy because the girl wasn't creepy, but it's just interesting how people can find out so much information about you. I was like, God, girl, I want to call you 007. Or, I mean, do you work for the CIA? Because she tweeted and said, Roger Federer made hotel reservations in Paris. So, it looks like he's going to play. Now, for me, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Anyone can make hotel reservations and then just cancel them. So, I'm glad to hear you're playing Paris. If that information is correct and it's solid information, and making hotel reservations means you're actually going to arrive in Paris and play, then I'm happy for you. Um, so good luck with that. But anyway, back to Basel. Good luck tomorrow in the finals. You probably won't even see this video or whatever, given the time that I'm making it. And so it's weird. It's so gray out here. It's not even that cold, but I'm like bundled up as if it was like 1,000 degrees below zero. But there's a storm. It's actually the big fat hurricane is supposed to be hitting not anytime soon, but tomorrow night. But since yesterday, it's been just crazy here. So anyway, I wanted to make probably one of the last videos of the season here in one of my favorite spots in Jersey. So anyway, yeah, so playing Del Potro tomorrow. Like, what have you encountered this season playing him? Last time you guys played, it was in the Olympics. It was a 4-hour thing, and then, I remember you saying you were emotionally drained, and it'd be interesting for you to go back and just go, well, what was draining me? Was it the strain of it all? Was it just the strain of feeling the pressure of going for gold in the Olympics? Was it feeling whatever it was, Roger, because sometimes I feel like I'm throwing out guesses and stuff, and they could just be wildly wrong, you know. But I think it's just important to like go back and not dwell on it, but just figure out how you can build on that, and sort of eliminate some of the strain that it might take in a match against Del Potro tomorrow. I have to say, I've been, your game is amazing. Like, you have gone, and I feel like I felt that you were playing amazing at the beginning of the year, obviously, and then there was a dip during Roland Garros, during clay season, and then you really, really got your shit tight. Sorry, I'm like always cursing nowadays. It's so funny. But you really got your mental game tight, and pulled through some rough, mentally rough tournament stuff that people would crack under. Like, you pull through those trials, and grabbed Wimbledon. And I still love it. I still freaking love it, Roger. Oh my God. But anyway, and even in the Olympics, you pulled through some really difficult moments. I have to say, I'm so freaking proud of you, like, with your match against Faya, like how you just held the line, because you could have just been like, again, I mentioned this in my video before, you could have been like, oh, I'm a goner, and you could have given up, but you didn't. You stayed relaxed and you stayed in there, and you kind of fought through your own whatever the heck was going on with you at that time. How it's kind of like you get up and somehow sometimes you can't get into stuff. You try to get yourself into stuff, and whatever's going on with you, you fought through it, pulled yourself together, and was able, you were able to pull out a win. So I'm proud of you, as far as that's concerned. But getting back to all of that, I'm interested in seeing you look at how you can play even more aggressively, and for you, I don't know how that lands for you, because you might be like, well, what the hell do you mean more aggressive? What the hell do you mean? Or do I have to pull a samurai sword out of my freaking racket and start stabbing the opponent? Like, what do you mean, oh, world girl? I guess what I mean is just more deliberate winners, I guess. More going for the kill. More deliberate aggression, I guess, and again, there's that certain violence in tennis, and, I think once you, Roger Federer, are okay, and you are, pretty much, but there's also another side of you, I feel, as well, like, you could press that button a little bit more. Like, that's a button Nadal doesn't have a problem pressing, even though you guys are nice guys, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Andy Murray is like, his personality is a little dark. I feel like Lendo's personality is a little dark, but I feel like Rafa can also take it to that level where he needs to be really aggressive, and he turns into an assassin, in order to get his point. But he's a nice, but personality-wise, he's like a nice person and stuff like that. And I think it would be interesting just to see you step as well. I feel like in general of what I know of both of you, that you have that same level of just being really nice in general, and, kind people in general, and, of what I know of you both. And, sometimes I think, those things transfer onto the court, and it's not a negative thing, it's just what it is. But how would you feel about just pressing the button a little bit more, being a little more aggressive, going for the kill a little bit more, and being like, yo, excuse me for saying this, Roger, but fuck you. I'm not saying fuck you, Roger. I'm saying to the opponent, like, fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to get out there and get a whole gangster attitude and all of that, but I'm just saying, would you be okay with that? And I'm not saying at the same time that you haven't done that, but I'm just saying that's going to take more of that. And you don't have to do it in the style that I just did it, but just get it done. You know what I mean? And I happened to come across this video today, actually, it was from 2005 with you and Rafa at Roland Garros. And, I feel like you could have totally won that match. And coulda, woulda, shoulda is terrible to say. But, there just were times where it was just the absence of the level of aggression. You're a better player than Rafa. You know that. You probably can, it's probably a broken record for me to say that all of the time. Yes, it's true. But, watching you guys play was great. It's just that he is with his finger on that buzzer. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but just the finger on the button all the time. No problem. He doesn't hate you. He doesn't come across as a nasty person or anything like that, but he's aggressive. And if he needs to slam that ball with you standing, I'm not saying he would hit you, but I'm just saying if he needs to do that in order to get the point, he's going to do it. I feel like watching you, but that was in all fairness, that was a 2005 match. That was 7 years ago. So, I know that you have changed, and we've all changed. I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. I don't know if that's good or bad at this point, but I'm just kidding. So, yeah, but I wonder, and I've mentioned this before about the certain violence in tennis and with you being okay with the violence in tennis, but would you be interested in incorporating that into your game more, more, assassin type of style of play where you're putting away more balls, where you're even like, I feel like, not only for you, but other players, like, I feel like you could step in and take a ball and just create a winner. Like, you could save yourself, like, 2 extra plays by sometimes stepping in. And I think I'll bring up that video, even though it was from 2005. It'll be interesting, I think, just to make some commentary on that video, because I still feel like there's still some trends that come through for you today that are similar to that match. And it's interesting to just see the reason why, from looking at the tennis match, you know, what tweaks you could have made in order to win that match, and just seeing, you know, your skills was totally there, and you are the better player. No, the Rafa was good and all, but, you know, it was just about that aggression, you know, that extra. And aggression is not always like probably a good word or whatever, but it's, yeah, I'm sort of using it a little with a little bit of ambiguity here. So, you know, but it would be interesting. But I think, you know, just going in, like, playing against Del Potro and stuff like that, you know, I mean, what do you think of, like, it seems like you're back at the baseline, and that's where you feel comfortable playing. And I just wonder, I mean, maybe you don't have to do like a chip and charge move all the time or anything like that. Clearly, you know, maybe that's not fully your style or something. You tried it, and for me, it just seems like you kind of phase it out a little bit from what I've seen of your matches. You know, I haven't had the time to see all of your matches, so forgive me if it's kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, like, you know, so forgive me, you know, like, give me a wide margin of error in this situation here. But, yeah, so, there's that. But instead of, like, for me, it seems like when you rush to net, like, when you hurry up and rush to the net, like, the other opponent just sees that, like, peripherally, and they're able to adjust and create a passing shot. So I don't think that you should, you know, it'd be interesting for you to look at not throwing away coming to net so much, moving that out of your game, but maybe taking on the ball just a little earlier. And, you know, how do I explain this? There are times when I feel like you can take the ball on earlier. There's times when I feel like Serena could take the ball on earlier, and other players, like, and I sort of don't know for sure if it's just the fact that I'm watching TV, like, and the fact that you're actually on the court. Maybe it's like a split second more for you to discern which way for sure, which direction the ball is coming for sure. But I sort of don't think that, because I've seen a few times where you guys actually do step in and take the ball early, when I'm like, oh, get in, you know, like, get in there. Oh my gosh, get in there. You can see it, like, you can see the ball sailing in just with a little less pace on it than normal, and it's like something you can take advantage of. So it'd be interesting, you know, I think, as you have these Del Potros and you have Murray's and Djokovic, you know, trying to make his comeback and stuff like that. You know, to actually just think about incorporating that more into your game. And again, just please forgive me and give me a margin of error if I'm, like, off base. Even though I kind of have a good feeling about what I'm saying. So, yeah, it's getting dark. I turn the lights on over here. So yeah, I mean, just as you go into Paris, as you know, get ready to gear up and all of that, you know, soon to be playing against these guys, you know, you're coming up to not only Paris, but World Tour finals, you know, and I think that is, like, the edge at this point in time, you know, because especially against Murray, I don't want to say especially too much against Murray, but I know, seeing a couple of comments online and stuff like that, and then the analysis being right in what I've seen, is that, you know, sometimes he takes advantage of the pace on some of your balls that you send, and actually steps in and takes advantage of it. So I don't know, you know what, I kind of feel like I don't know what I'm talking about here, so I think I'm going to abandon what I'm talking about here. But you know, something in there is, if it's not right, it's remotely right, what I just said. But I don't know how to really explain it, but you know, you're gonna be going up against Djokovic and Murray, all of these bigger guys for sure. Again, you know, in Paris, and you want to try to maintain the number one ranking, even though I know that's not necessarily a priority, because I didn't realize this, but I don't even understand how this works. With Djokovic has got like 2,200 more points than you for some reason. I don't fully get that. I'll have to look it up, but I haven't had time to like really look it up to understand it. But you know, Roger, you just keep soldiering on. Like you said, you know, I think you know, just keep playing your best, and then whatever the result is good, and then just take it in, even if you are, you know, I don't even want to speak on it, but you know what, whatever ends up after giving all your best is all good. And then, you know, the new season's right around the corner, 6 weeks later, I guess, and you know, once you're on those weeks off, it's just kind of like, well, how do you want to approach next season? And I know you've already been talking about that, so maybe this is nothing new, obviously, that I'm telling you, but how do you want to approach it mentally? You know, how do you want to come into next season refreshed? How do you want to, you know, I know you said you want to train more, which is exciting to me, you know. How do you want to do those things? And what ways can you help yourself, too? Like, you know, like, what's your nutrition like? I imagine it's pretty good, but do you like eat cheese, and do you drink? I don't know. And I'm not trying to like get all of your personal life, but I'm just saying, like, if you're eating cheese and you're eating dairy and stuff like that, those are foods that are harder for the body to understand. Like, if you're focusing more on whole foods, as they call it here in America, I'm not sure if it's a term, you know, I imagine it translates all over, but it's food that the body understands, like brown rice, like broccoli. You know, it's food that the body just understands and can process easily and take what it needs and get rid of the rest. And you feel a difference in your body. I'm sure I may not be telling you anything that you don't already know. Like, have you ever bitten into, you know, an extremely fresh piece of fruit? Or have you taken a bite of an extreme, you know, of something that is, you know, even if it's seafood, you know, it's so funny, like, you can just taste when something's extremely fresh, or even a vegetable, like, you can just taste it. It's almost like your body's like, oh my gosh, this is great. Wow, this is unbelievably fresh. You know, it's uniquely, wildly fresh. So, anyway, but, you know, I mean, just even looking at, like, small things that could really help you, because, I mean, even with dairy, eating a lot of dairy, and I don't know if you do this, but it creates, and this probably sounds really disgusting, so, you know, forgive me, but, you know, it ends up creating, like, mucus and blockages in the body and stuff like that, which, you know, isn't good overall. And you may not feel it right now, but on some level, you know, once you're kind of clearing it out and eating even more healthier, you start to feel a difference. Like, oh my God, you know, like, I feel better. So I imagine that you're already a healthy eater, so that I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but just, you know, that was just an example. Like, what do you feel, you know, you could do to just make yourself into the next place player? But I don't want to jump forward too far. I just wanted to congratulate you on this, and then I thought about, you know, playing Del Potro, and you should be able to win against him, you know. And I think, you know, it's at this point in time, not confusing, again, being careful not to confuse difficulty with these players, or even a loss, you know, a past loss to these players is something necessarily wrong with your game. You know, your skill, you're up to par, you've been playing really hard. It's just about tweaking it, you know, as you know, but, you know, just be careful mentally about that. And, you know, always suggest it, you know, I think getting sort of like a psychology of winning coach is always going to be helpful. That's my theory, but I don't know, I haven't seen you do that yet, as well as maybe exploring a new racket, but we'll see what happens. So, you know, I don't think I really have too much to talk about. Yeah, I was just thinking, again, you know, stepping in and taking the ball earlier, and then it's like, when you take that ball earlier, you know, go for the kill, because a lot of times standing at the baseline, sometimes you're not always able to put as much speed on the ball, and that's what gives these other guys advantage. You know, like, you're dealing with guys who can generate a lot of power, and when it's kind of giving them, you know, a little bit of a break sometimes, you know, if a ball doesn't have, you know, you've got a lot of speed. It's not like I ever sit at the screen and say, oh my God, except at Wimbledon 2008, like, you should know, if you haven't seen that match, like, at the time that your backhand, you know, it was like times when the ball was just sailing back, you know, it wasn't like it was like, oh my God, it's so slow or anything like that. But you should just know, like, you know, that gave Rafa, like, a huge wide opening. You know, it had nothing to do with your skill or anything like that. It's just where you were at the time with the backhand. So it's nothing, you know, it's good to know that these certain things and these certain issues. I feel like I'm just sorry, just like rambling on and not talking about anything. So yeah, so I'm just thinking, you know, as you go into, like, the World Tour Finals, you know, it's going to be highly competitive. It's not as if it is in any other year. But, you know, especially this year, I think, too, you know, with Murray and his whole situation, as I've explained in my other videos. And then Djokovic also wanting to get back to the #1 spot. And then the year is #1, you know, which is just natural for him. Like I said, you know, you understand that. It just comes with the territory. Once somebody's in the #1 spot and they lose it, they want it back. So nothing special or you know, nothing that we need Sherlock Holmes for. It's just a given. But you know, these guys will be playing probably a little extra hard, and you know, I think it'd be worth it, like, looking at not totally taking out your game, like, not totally, like, you know, just staying at the baseline. You know, of course I'm no tennis expert, but, you know, I'm just throwing it out there. And I think taking the ball on earlier and creating winners, like, really just focusing on how you can close out balls. And maybe for you, I don't know how that lands for you, or if you're like, that's not exciting tennis, you know, and that's not exciting for a crowd or something like that. I don't know, but I'm telling you, getting into that assassin more mentality is what's going to get you over onto the win, you know. And like I always say, you know, like Rafa and Djokovic say, it's just a few points. It's a matter of a few points here and there with these guys, because you guys are all really freaking good. And on a good day or a bad day, you know, it just matters which way it goes sometimes, you know. And although you are the absolute best out of everyone, but, you know, it's worth it to really look at the advantage that guys have on you with their height and with their arm's length and with their, you know, power. You know, they are generating a lot more consistent power. And I'm not saying that to, like, try to put you down or anything like that, because you generate a lot of power too. But it just seems like these other guys generate a lot of power just more easily, more consistently. And if you're looking at the match, and it's not to say it to put you down or anything like that, it's just about a plan B, like, dealing with that. Because if you're looking at the match, you can notice it. You can notice the speed of the ball. You can notice it. And you can notice how it opens up advantage for other players. So anyway, I'm going to run. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon, and good luck tomorrow. Bye-bye.